Good morning, Agent Sands.
Good morning.
Can you please spell your name for the court reporter?
Tracy, it's Tracy. Last name Sands, Sands.
And Agent Sands, where do you work?
I'm a special agent with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. I work with the Region 5 Field Office, which covers Liberty County, although our office is in Statesboro.
And just for this portion of your testimony, we're going to be discussing the audio statements that were preserved in connection with Mr. Kassotis.
Okay.
The interviews.
As a result of being a member of law enforcement, did there come a time when you took some arrest warrants in this case?
I did.
And when you took those arrest warrants, did they ultimately result in the arrest of Mr. Kassotis?
Yes, ma'am.
Where was he arrested?
Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
And do you recall the date?
Would have been May the 11th or 11th or 12th.
Okay.
Somewhere in that area.
Would it be of 2022 or 3?
23.
Okay. And at that point, did you have an opportunity to speak with him after he had been arrested?
12th.
Okay. So on May 12th of 2023, he was arrested, and subsequently, did you speak with him after his arrest?
Well, I actually had to fly to Pennsylvania first, so I met with him the following day, which would have been May the 13th.
Okay. Pennsylvania is not your location, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So how did the arrangements get made for where you were going to have the interview?
We called ahead and requested assistance. We had been working with the Pennsylvania State Police, U.S. Marshals, as FBI, as well as others. So we contacted the facility he was housed at and requested to schedule an interview as soon as we could arrive.
And as a result of that scheduling, did you have an opportunity to sit down with him?
I did.
Who was present?
Detective Jack Frost with the Liberty County Sheriff's Office. He's now Investigator Frost.
And were you also, of course, there?
Yes, ma'am.
And who else was the interview subject?
Yes. Mr. Kassotis was there at that time.
Okay. And if the record can reflect, he is indicated towards the defendant. At that time, did you sit down with him, with Investigator Frost and yourself?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And was that a situation where you were able to record that interview?
We did. We were anticipating a video recording, but I always carry an audio recorder just in case as a backup. And we actually used an audio recording device at that time.
Okay. Did you have access to a video recorder at the time?
Not there. Like I say, it was a very large facility, so I anticipated one being there. But once we got in the room, they had actually put it was more like a closet than an interview room.
Okay. And did you in fact record it?
I did.
Okay. And previously you heard some testimony concerning Investigator Frost discussing the Miranda waivers. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I'm going to show you 2.19. Are you familiar with that exhibit?
Yes, ma'am.
What is that?
That is our standard GBI waiver of rights forms.
Okay. And what is the intent of using that form?
To advise the person being interviewed of their Miranda rights.
Okay. Was this unique in this case with respect to Miranda rights?
It was. Over my 30-year career, I can only think of a handful of attorneys that I had interviewed.
Okay. And as far as you knew, what was Mr. Kassotis' former employment?
He was a judge advocate general with the Navy.
And in that capacity, does that handle criminal matters?
Yes, ma'am.
Does that act in the form of a prosecutor?
Yes, ma'am. My understanding is they act as prosecutors and defense, depending on which case is assigned.
Okay. So at that time, did you follow the same protocols, irrespective of the fact that he was previously a lawyer or was a lawyer?
Yes, ma'am. He was a suspect in custody, so we advised him of his Miranda rights.
Okay. And are those rights documented on that form?
Yes, ma'am, they are.
Who read him his rights?
I read him his rights.
Okay. And is that captured on the audio?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you in any way threaten Mr. Kassotis?
I did not.
Did you offer him some benefit in order to give a statement?
I did not.
And everything that was said, is that on the audio?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. At this time, prior to coming in, did you have an opportunity to listen to that audio again to confirm that it was the audio recording in its entirety?
Yes, ma'am, numerous times.
Okay. And is that a complete and accurate recording of what occurred and transpired on May 13th of 2023 in Lancaster, Pennsylvania?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
At this time, Your Honor, I'm going to ask that the USB that I physically have it on be marked itself. There are other exhibits on it, Your Honor, so I will go through that with counsel prior to the jury, but I would ask, I guess our next one is 1.101. So I will mark the USB with that sticker, if that's okay. And just so the record is clear, Your Honor, there is a folder on Exhibit 1.101 that reflects statements, and it reflects the date of May 13th, 2023, just to distinguish it.
Thank you.
Agent Sands, do you know approximately how long that initial interview was?
It was over 2 hours.
Okay. For the purposes of today, Your Honor, I'm going to try and break that up. And Your Honor, at this time, I'd now seek to tender 1.101, the file referencing May 13, 2023, Nicholas Killian James Stark.
Any objection? No objection. It is admitted.
And Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to play the audio.
Right.
You can just tell me when you're ready, madam.
You go, chat.
Hey, sorry, Jack Cross from the Wilmington County Sheriff's Office.
Hi.
Hey, where? Wilmington County Sheriff's Office.
Okay. Card, when they had to get the card out, and they let you carry them back here and out, but that's how we need to wait. That way you can later.
Okay.
And you can get in touch with us and do it from there. As you know, you read your rights.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
Then I want to speak about it. If you need one.
Thank you. Yes.
And what's your name again?
Nicholas Stark.
You have a middle name?
I have two middle names. Killian, K-I-L-I-A-N, James.
Okay. And how old are you?
I'm 40 years old.
40. Okay. And what address are you?
590 Centerville Road, number 345, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. 17601.
Okay, and I know you were an attorney, so years of schooling?
I mean, I got a postgraduate law degree too, so I don't know, close to 20, I think.
Okay.
12, 16, 19, 21 actually.
Okay, I will put in 21 years and a law degree. Okay. As I told you, I'm a special agent with GBI. He's actually a detective with the Liberty County Sheriff's Office. Says I have the right to remain silent. Do you understand that, right?
Yes, I do.
It's kind of funny asking you that.
It's all right.
Anything I say can be used against me for law.
Yes.
Have the right to talk to a lawyer, have him present when while being questioned.
Yes.
If I cannot afford to hire a lawyer, will be appointed representative me for any question if I wish.
Yes.
I can sign any time to exercise these rights, not answer any questions or make any statements.
Yes.
So to understand my rights, having these rights in mind, I'm willing now to talk to this law enforcement officer.
Yes.
First drive from the airplane, such that
No, that's all right.
have not been threatened, promised anything, forced in any way to answer any questions or make any statements.
Yes.
Are you willing to talk to us?
I am.
You don't worry about my day notes?
No, please.
have any video in here or anything. So,
Yeah,
so
but you're recording, yeah, no, that's,
I'm not trying to hide or something.
no, I'm sorry.
And I know yesterday was kind of a surprise on stuff going on.
Yeah.
With you. You've been advising what it was in reference to, correct?
Just very, very briefly.
Okay. This is in reference to the death of Mindy.
Yes,
And at that time, she was your wife, correct?
yes, she was.
All right. Let's start. Let's go back to, let's say, 2018.
Okay.
What happened in your life in 2018? I know you've been through a lot of changes in time, but
Yeah, in 2018, we started undergoing a kind of a campaign of harassment.
okay.
Campaign of harassment.
We started
2018.
with money going missing from our accounts, and escalated to vandalism at the house of our vehicles, threats against us.
And where were you living at that time? I know
Alexandria, Virginia.
Alexandria. Okay. Did you make any police reports?
We both made an FBI report,
Okay.
but we did not make a police report.
Yeah, report. Okay. And that was vandalism and then
Yes.
what type of vandalism? Like painting or like?
No, broken stuff, nails and tires, rocks through windows. I was getting anonymous emails and text messages threatening to kill me.
Okay. And then what happened?
Trying to get my timeline right. This went on for a long time.
Okay.
Trying to get my timeline right.
Getting worse, we would get a little better, it would get worse. In late 2019, we left Alexandria
Okay.
and went to Charlottesville. We were hoping, to find a
New quiet place?
Yeah. Hoping that it would be better. Within, I think, a day or two of arriving there, I was assaulted.
And how were you assaulted?
With a bat or something
Okay.
similar. We had found a place that we could rent for a while, and I had gone there to move some stuff in,
Okay.
and somebody was waiting. I believe it was Nelson County. It was I forget what county it was, but.
Do you have any idea who it would have been?
I believe it was Wayne Kassotis.
Okay. And who is Wayne?
Wayne is my father.
Okay.
Wayne? Is that a real name for father?
And we had been told, but this is kind of. We'd been contacted by somebody who initially told us that he was with the FBI. He showed up one day and talked to Mindy, and then later told us he was not. But for years served as, I'm not exactly sure what that conversation was. I wasn't there for it.
Okay.
For years has served as a advisor to us in terms of safety. And he told us that he believed that Wayne was at the center of the.
So Mindy talked to him when she did.
I talked to him later. I did not talk to him the first time he came to the
But
house.
so he first said he was with FBI,
I believe that was her understanding. Was that
Okay.
he said he was with the FBI.
but later you clarified that you.
That he was not.
Okay.
But he had said that he thought it would be a good idea for us to leave the area of Alexandria. We went to Charlottesville and didn't even make it. I forget if it was one or two. I forget exactly when we got down there. I had 3 broken ribs, I believe. And
Was there a police report you?
there was not. I called them last fall, and was told that, given the fact that I hadn't actually seen him, and that I was going off of just kind of like the sound. I mean, he's somebody I'm familiar with. The sound of the person, the sounds of the person who made it sounded like him to me.
Okay.
We were really unsure what to do at that point. We bounced around the Charlottesville area for about a month.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, close to 2 months. Close to 2 months. And then had a conversation and decided that we were going to go to Hilton Head for the holidays.
Now, were you still in the Navy then?
No, I was in the process of, and I forget exactly when I got the paperwork. And
I got the paperwork and stuff, and I'm not trying to trick you, I'm just trying to help my.
yeah, no. So I hadn't gotten my discharge paperwork yet, but I went to a Navy clinic.
Okay.
But I had not.
Navy clinic.
I got your official paperwork.
I believe at that point I thought I was still a reservist, and I forget exactly what the date was that the reserve discharge came through.
That's no problem. But y'all were around Charlottesville for around 2 months.
Yeah, around 2
And
months.
then you moved to Hilton Head.
Yes.
Do you remember what year that was?
That was Christmas 2019.
Okay.
We arrived Christmas Eve.
And was that when y'all lived with his brother?
No.
You didn't live, y'all just had an initial, you and her, there was nobody else there, right?
Yeah, so for several months it was just the 2 of us. So this is now early 2020. Stayed in kind of a variety of places. And I want to say it was April. Her parents and her youngest brother moved into a rental that we had.
Okay.
Her father had a knee surgery and he needed a place where he could recover without stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time.
I'm going to pause there real quick. This is out of court. So this is coming from, I'm going to drop my little translate of this segment in the chat. So all my blathering in the chat is me trying to help translate what I'm hearing through these headphones. It might not be completely accurate, but I'm trying my best. But 2020, then thanks to Dizzy, there's we heard from the father, Mindy's father, that he was a minister and then he did like financial advisor work for 6 years and then he retired. We heard he was retired. Well, they skipped this gap. In 2020, FINRA suspends the dad's license because of some issue. And there's a judgment against him. He has to pay like $17,000 plus interest and attorney's fees. And in this little, actually, do I still have it open? I actually think I have it open. So here's that. I'll link it in the chat if you guys want to look at it. But one thing that was really interesting about it, I thought, was on or about May 12th, 2020, Claimants Counsel contacted FINRA staff and advised that he had spoken with respondent. Respondent is Frank Mebane III, the dad. But that respondent advised him that he was being represented by an attorney, and Claimants Counsel confirmed that he, therefore, could not agree to an extension of time or to discuss the case with respondent. To date, FINRA has not received a notice of appearance, statement of answer, and or submission agreement from respondent, and respondent has not attempted to reach FINRA staff to further participate in this arbitration. So we didn't hear from the dad that, hey, I and I couldn't be a financial advisor anymore in 2020, and maybe that's why we were moving in with everybody together. They made it seem like we were either doing it for the safety concerns as raised by both Nicholas and Mindy, or we were helping them pay for things without really a reason specified. So here is the link to this FINRA thing here. But the reason I point out this 2020 is because we're getting, you know, dad's about to have knee surgery. So 2020 made me think of that. There's some context that is out of court. It hasn't been mentioned in court.
Her middle brother and his wife, but his house was.
So she has 3 brothers?
No, she has 2 brothers.
2 brothers.
Sorry. Yeah.
You said middle also? Yeah.
One more thing, Sunshine for You. Is that what Doug was trying to get in on the record the other day? I don't know if he was going to try to get there, but he did ask the dad about hospital litigation against the hospital, and what's very, very interesting about that. Now, this would be in relation to Mindy's death, and we only have the parents telling us that after that weekend, he runs into the house that they were all staying at, this Airbnb. The dad had hip surgery, a different surgery, not this knee surgery, but a hip surgery. On November 31st, he's discharged. He comes home on December 1st. Nicholas Kassotis says he'll take care of him. Betsy, the mom, goes to work. She comes home. And sometime after that, Nicholas comes back into the house when both the parents are there and is upset and is distraught and says, she's gone. And the dad says they don't contact the hospital. They assume that it was a Navy hospital that they took Mindy to. And they leave it at that. They don't ask further questions. But when Doug gets up for cross-examination, Doug asks a question about litigation, opening litigation against the hospital. And the dad's like, well, no, Nick didn't ask me to do that. But what's interesting is here we see some litigation where he's saying he has an attorney. The dad is representing he has an attorney. And whoever's putting together this arbitrator is documenting that there was nothing to actually corroborate that this respondent, Frank Mebane, had representation. And to me, it seems like what Doug was trying to get at, perhaps the dad wanted to, or the parents wanted to, open a lawsuit against the hospital. But they didn't even know what hospital. They didn't even bother to ask what hospital this supposedly all happened at. So you see how this looks like a little bit of a tangled web? Like there's questions. There's questions.
Yeah, he's the middle child. Mindy was the oldest. Frank was, I think, about 3 years younger than her, and then Matthew was, I believe, about 21 years younger than her.
Okay.
He was a late life surprise for her parents. Okay, so we lived with them for 2 months or so, or give or take. Mindy and her father had an argument. She was kind of unhappy with their response to us moving, and then we lived by ourselves for quite a while. We were up in we were in Hilton Head for I think only about a week at this point. More, and we went to Charleston, and we were down in the Beaufort area. Beaufort.
Yeah, Beaver's good.
Beaufort's good. Okay, sorry. I don't say it. And then in February of 2021, we moved in with her brother and his wife.
Okay.
And their mother was living there as well.
Okay, so Mindy's mother?
Yes, yeah.
But her father, where was her father at the time?
Her father was in, I believe it's called Dublin, Georgia.
Okay.
So Matthew is a bit of a baseball star,
Okay.
and was going, at that point was going to high school there.
Okay.
And now he's going to a junior college somewhere.
Okay.
South Georgia State, possibly. It's probably. We lived with.
All right, Pawsy McPauserton, and I don't know, do we have Robert in the chat right now? Robert had grabbed a transcript from yesterday. So again, assuming that the transcription caught, like, I think this is like pulled from, I'm not sure how he did it, but it's great. The only results I see from the transcript of the father being on the stand for the words knee are just these two lines here. So let's see. They're speaking forward already. So what Nicholas was talking about earlier with this Tracy Sands audio, he's still talking about a 2020 knee surgery. But here yesterday we have, okay, well, when you get to that location, did there come a time where you had to have surgery of some kind? I had a hip replacement. Yes. Okay. Can you tell the jury what happened that prompted you to have that surgery? And we have, well, I hurt my left knee shagging fly balls for my son, and I didn't get my knee fixed. And it got to the point where it hurt my left hip, and I finally had to get hip replacement surgery. Okay, do you remember when that was? November 2022. But here in this interview, this audio interview that we're hearing with Tracy Sands, Nicholas Kassotis is relaying to Sands that there actually was a knee surgery back in 2020. We fixed the knee in 2020. So, I don't know, chat. I don't know.
Frank and Megan for over a year.
And I'm typing. I don't see Robert in the chat right now.
I thought it would be a short, time, but given other things in our life, we felt that that was a good place for us to be, and we wanted to stay with them, kind of into the future.
And what were y'all doing at that time for employment?
I wouldn't be working. Mindy was not working. I mean, neither of us were working per se. I was working on a piece of software analysis of what it was doing on behalf of this advisor, and with the understanding that there would be payment when it was finished.
Did that ever come forward, or was that still pending?
That was still pending when I kind of cut ties with him.
Okay. So you're still developing it now, and it's not like a product somewhere else. You're still working on it.
I'm still working on it. I don't know where it is at this time.
But you're not working on it.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
We had several conversations both with him about payment and with Frank and Megan about living situations and finding houses to live in, and Frank and Megan got to a point where they felt that it was all taking too long, and they did not want to continue planning. They wanted to put their house on the market.
And what was the guy's name, the software guy that you were communicating?
He goes by Jim to me.
Jim?
Jim.
Okay.
Yes. The last name McIntyre.
Okay.
I quite honestly, I feel like he's lied to me so much that
Have you ever met him in person?
I have met him in person. Yes.
Where'd you meet?
I've met him multiple times. He's shown places that where we were, told us to, told us that he thought it was time for us to move, to find another place.
But the plan was for him to buy the software.
Yes.
Or the facility to sell. Okay. Okay. Then what happened?
I believe it was June 2021. We had been told multiple times that we would have a rental, set up in our names locally, where we and Mindy's parents could move.
And that was him telling you that?
Yes.
Okay. Then what happened?
Frank, after one of the times that we'd been told that we'd be out by a certain date and we came and went, Frank got very upset and filed for eviction for Mindy and I.
And was that the father or the son?
I'm sorry, the son,
Okay.
who owned the house.
Okay.
At this point, the father was living in the house. He had moved in, I guess, October 2021-ish.
Okay. So you were evicted
By the son,
Son.
yeah, Mindy's brother.
Then what happened?
Her parents put us up in a hotel for a week in Savannah.
Okay.
We waited for we were really upset with how things had gone. We felt like we were kind of abandoned.
Okay.
And Jim said that, if we could continue working together, he would have more control. He would, so we rented in an Airbnb in Savannah.
Okay.
It was 2 bedrooms. It was big enough for us and for Mindy's parents to stay there as well.
Do you remember the address or?
It was on 65th Street,
Okay.
but I don't remember the number.
Okay. Then what happened?
We were, I guess one of a constant issue with Jim was him telling us things or asking us to lie on his behalf and not following through. Like causing issues.
And what sort of lies? He was asking you to lie on his behalf. What do you mean by it?
Sometimes it was a matter of like telling us stuff that I have reason to doubt, that my parents were not actually my parents. Sometimes it was.
So he told you that your parents weren't your parents?
Yes.
Okay. And how did he get that? What was his source of the information?
He had me take a DNA test
Okay.
and told me that the result that he had gotten a sample from them.
Okay.
He would put me on the phone with people he said were investigators that I questioned whether they were.
Do you remember what company the DNA test was? Was it like Ancestry or?
No, so I didn't
You just never saw it?
Yeah, he swapped it. He took it and he took it off, and then told me, at a later time that I was not related to them.
Okay.
But what would be the
Okay,
issue?
what was your reason for allowing him to do that? I guess I'm kind of following you. Why would you want Jim to know your family? Why would you give him your DNA?
I trusted him a lot
Okay.
throughout this. I felt like he was keeping us safe and that he was, when he took this, it was probably, fall 2020,
Okay.
late summer, early fall 2020.
Okay. And then what happened?
So one of the issues when we were living with Frank and Megan was that a rather large issue is that we've been trying to have a child. I think Mindy had thought that she might be pregnant. She had taken a test that was positive, but it was very early in July of 2020.
July 2020?
I'm sorry, July of 2021. We were living with them.
Okay.
She.
And was that at the 65th Street?
No. This is, we didn't get to 65th Street until July 2022.
Okay.
I think July 2022. June, July, somewhere in there.
Okay.
July 2021, we went to the emergency room because she had some bleeding.
And you would have been living in Hilton Head?
Yeah.
Okay. So we went to ER.
Went to the ER.
Now, were you getting like your military unit with a tractor?
No. At this point, we were.
Benefits.
Yeah, we did not have benefits. We were. We were using just like Medicare, Medicaid, whichever. Once for if you're old and once for if you're not making money at that time. that was the no money one.
Okay. So y'all had no really source of income?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were,
Okay.
depending on Jim for a lot.
And I'm sorry to keep interrupting, I want to clarify, make sure I get it right.
Yeah, no.
So July 21,
Yeah,
she took the test.
Yeah, or she'd taken the test sometime before, but she had some bleeding. July 2021, we went to the hospital learned that she was not pregnant.
Okay.
The woman we spoke to said it was likely a fairly early miscarriage.
And y'all met when? How many years ago?
Oh, Mindy and I?
Yeah.
We met in fall of 2015.
Okay. And you were married in?
October 2016.
Okay. And did y'all start trying to have children then?
We didn't. I was transitioning out of the Navy, and we thought that we would take a couple of years, and then we kind of wound up in the thick of the shit that we were going through.
Life.
Yeah.
In Texas terms. What about when did your rough decision that you really wanted to have kids start?
I think when we moved in with, we always said we wanted to have kids, and when we moved in with Frank and Megan, they had recently, probably 4 months before, had a daughter.
Okay.
And I think, seeing it and, it being her younger brother, it really, Mindy really wanted to start at that point.
Okay.
The situation was not ideal, but we thought we were moving towards, an ideal situation.
And she was getting older, and you were
Yeah, exactly. She was slightly older than I was, so. We went to the hospital, learned that we had lost the baby.
Okay.
And contacted Jim, and he said, don't share that. Don't share what happened at the hospital. Just say everything's fine. 3 weeks later, Frank asked Mindy if she was pregnant, and she froze and said, she wasn't allowed to talk about it. And he gave her a big hug, and he's like, that's so great. And she was upset. came to me, we sent a message to Jim, and he said, just let it go, like, yes, like, sure, say you're pregnant, you'll be pregnant soon, and by the time, like, the timing all becomes clear, this will all be settled.
And he said, how often would you message Jim?
Every day.
Every day. And how did you message him?
An app called Signal.
Okay.
It's an encrypted messaging app that he introduced me to.
Oh, so that's why we're using
And
Signal.
How often do you physically see him?
When we were at Frank and Megan's, we would not see him. But before that, it was probably once a month to once every 2 months.
Okay. And did you see him at Frank and Megan's?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't see him in person for about 1.5 years from when we moved in with them, which he did not want us to do until we were in the hotel in Savannah.
Okay.
The first hotel, we were in 2 hotels there.
Okay. Do you remember the name of the hotel?
They were both La Quintas.
Okay.
We have a dog, or we had a dog. So the dog is still alive, but
What's the dog's name?
Rusty.
And that was the dog you had yesterday?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I guess the dog was at the house or was in the car with
He
you?
was at the house.
Okay, because I got pictures sent to me of the dog, so I was making sure
Okay.
that he was.
Is he okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he's fine, and she said, but y'all let the dog rusty in, so La Quintas is where you can stay.
Yeah, they have a really, or I don't know if it's this doesn't matter, but I don't know if it's just these locations or if it's a wider thing, but they're really easy with dogs.
Okay. And he looked like a lab, they just got a mixed lab?
I call him a lab mix.
Okay.
He looks kind of like a Carolina dog, which
How long you had him?
I adopted him in 2011 when I lived in Italy.
Okay.
He was
So he's kind of 4 weeks old,
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, back to y'all were in hotels, La Quintas. Back at one time you said that her parents paid, or was it both times they paid?
I think they paid. I think they paid for both initially.
Okay.
We were in one for just a couple days, and then their weekend rates were significantly higher than the other one's weekend rates.
Okay.
So she moved us there and paid for another couple days, and then we had. Then we called a couple of friends to ask them to pay while we were figuring stuff out.
Okay.
At this point in time, we had no car. We were. I had recently learned that my driver's license had been canceled by Virginia. Because I guess if you, I had set up a mailing address when we were moving in Florida. Like it's like one of the services that'll scan your mail.
Okay.
And it just seemed like a good idea for us. We weren't exactly sure where we were going to land, and we had problems with our mail disappearing to the point where we had initially got a PO box. But I guess if you change your license address to an out-of-state address, they cancel it. And by the time that letter caught up with me, like it was years later, and I was so yeah, we were in the La Quinta for I'm not exactly sure how long. I think I don't know, a couple weeks.
And that was prior to moving to 60.
Yeah, that's prior. Yeah, we were at one that's kind of set up as a motel. They're not too. They're probably a couple miles apart. One's kind of set up like as a motel, like it all opens, to like exteriors, and then the second one was more of a traditional hotel. I think that might be called Midtown, but I'm not sure.
Still not out.
So we met with Jim. We said that, you know, we wanted access to our own money. We wanted a vehicle. Mindy, so at this point, Mindy had tested positive again as pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Like we wanted her seeing a doctor of her choice.
And roughly when was that?
This is when we were at the hotel. This was our list of demands, so we didn't want to be depending on him for.
I didn't want a year roughly.
Oh, so this was 2022. Yeah.
She's pregnant and around what month of 22?
Did she get pregnant?
Yeah.
She tested. She tested in May, but she had already been pregnant. We think or I was told she had already been pregnant for a little while.
Okay. Did she know if it was a boy or a girl or?
We were told it was a girl.
Okay. And where were y'all told that?
After we left the hotel and got to the 65th Street, there was a doctor who had come to the house that Mindy found.
What? To the house?
And he would meet with her, and she told me after one of her appointments that he had said that he'd done a test and that it was a girl.
Okay. Said he had tested and it was a girl.
Yeah, I'm not sure what type of test it was. You know, he would arrive with a bag and.
Okay. That's like a doctor bag?
Yeah, her doctor's bag,
Okay.
and then he would see her in the.
What type of cost a doctor like that?
I don't know.
Okay.
So this was. She said that she wanted to find somebody, and
Like I said, Mindy found it.
Mindy found him. Mindy contacted him. Mindy dealt with him. That was one of our other
Because
things.
I mean, there's like two of the doctor's offices in that area that they.
Yeah.
That's all I.
Yeah.
You know his name?
I don't.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I ever got it. He talked to me very little.
Okay.
But he would come. You know, she would talk to him.
How often had he came?
It varied. So when
How many times would you say he came?
Probably. I mean, we were there for 5 months. I guess probably about a dozen times. There wasn't all. So he came. He came more like earlier, and then later on he came. You know, and in between there would be, you know, sometimes it would be like once a month.
And he billed that to Medicare or Medicaid, whichever one we, because I don't know which one either.
Yeah, that was but one of the only conversations I ever had with him. I filled out a form for that and put the number on it.
Okay. Okay, then what happened?
Probably October, mid to late October. Mindy's blood pressure started to get higher. She was very sensitive to medications. She'd been on Synthroid for years and had been told that she had to take the prescription only because there's less difference between the.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that was for thyroid problems?
Yeah. There's less difference between the doses and the generic. And that she's very sensitive. Like when she increased her dose, like she had to do it very, very slowly. She couldn't do like a normal dose. She had issues with muscle relaxants and beta blockers.
So muscle relaxers and beta blockers.
Yeah, she had what appeared to be allergic reactions to both.
So the muscle relaxers, what were they for?
We've been in a bad car accident in October 2017. We were rear-ended at kind of high speed. And I saw the car coming from behind us and braced a little. She was in the passenger seat and nodded and kind of like twisted her.
And so she got some back problems.
Yeah, she got injections like into her disc.
Then what happened?
And
then we're back with the blood pressure and the...
Yeah, so the doctor told her that she should be on bed rest, that she should not be interacting with her parents. There had been a couple of kind of a couple of real arguments there. One was that we considered moving to Atlanta because we thought her youngest brother, was going to be going to school there in the fall.
Okay. And they got upset over that?
No, we found it, and this had been, we'd been given like I think
Shout out to Amber.
He was Kennesaw State, and then we found out in late August that he'd actually failed all his classes and had lost his offer there. And we had been kind of thinking that was where we were gonna head.
Okay, but back to the no interaction with the parents, that he said they had a couple of arguments with you.
Yeah, that was one of them. And the other one was over them regularly seeing Frank and Megan. She was very upset about that. She felt that Frank had put us in a horrible position and had kind of betrayed us.
How did you feel about it?
I was extremely upset with Frank.
And she was upset too.
She was upset too. I think she was more upset. I kind of understood their situation. Like, at that point, Harper was their only grandchild, and did they not want to have a relationship with their grandchild? I don't know. I'm not a parent, but I can imagine this type of situation is pretty hard.
Okay. And then what happened?
She's
been placed on bed rest.
She's been placed on, she's been placed on bed rest. I was having to check her blood pressure every night. I was doing a little digital sleeve that did it. It was kind of nice. And then she would report that.
Timmy said that y'all were in a 2-bedroom.
Yeah.
And she was not supposed to see her parents. How did that work out? Was she like to get her between, or how did it
not really well. She would say, there were kind of 2 living areas. Our bedrooms were directly across from each other.
Okay.
With the only shared bathroom with a shower in between.
Okay.
So she would send me messages like, hey, are they sitting kind of, so it was like an L-shaped house, so I would sit here kind of by the bedrooms and work, and there you had this living area, dining area, the kitchen, and then it would jut towards the back, and there was another living area.
So she kind of used you as her eyes.
Yeah, and she'd be like, hey, are they sitting, are they either in their bedroom or sitting back there, and.
Was it a big house?
Yes, sir.
So I made it difficult, isn't it?
It was not great.
And you said y'all were there for 5 months, roughly?
Roughly, yeah. We were discussing we were discussing our options, with Jim, with them. They wanted to stay in the area. We wanted badly to leave the area. He said he would help find a suitable place for them until we got settled, and then we could potentially buy them something if that's what we decided to do. He said he wanted to get us to, we talked for some time about changing our names. He said that his plan was to have us go to Missouri for a brief time, change our names there with the court, and then to settle in kind of a rural area,
And this was Jim we talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Near enough, medical so that, we could do all the baby stuff, but far enough that we would just kind of be, he said that he would tell us, to, cut contact with people, to not tell them.
And at this point, he's really not giving you anything.
Yes, at this point, yeah.
So no money at all.
Right.
Okay.
Um,
And that's Jim.
yeah. Around Thanksgiving, the week of Thanksgiving, Mindy had been trying a couple of new blood pressure medicines, and they were not working. She would like try one for a week and then see if there was change. And her doctor came. They talked for a while, and she said that she told me that she had explained our situation. I'm sorry, can I back up?
Yeah.
In October, I think it was September 30th. Wayne showed up at the house.
Okay.
That's your father?
Yeah.
Okay.
He showed up with his brother. I was shut. It was kind of first thing in the morning. I was.
What's his brother's name?
Chester. I think it was by Chet.
Chester Chet. Okay. What's his last name?
Kassotis, yeah.
What were they driving?
They were driving a white SUV, a Sumer rental. It was the day that a hurricane was supposed to hit Savannah, but it ended up taking a bit north.
You like to hide from them?
What?
You like to hide from them?
Yeah. So what I was kind of coming out of the bathroom. I had coffee, and I saw there were shades in the front of the house. I saw somebody there, and I just assumed it was the house's owner coming to see if there had been storm damage.
So you saw him through the shades?
Yeah, I didn't realize who it was. Opened the door and was terrified. They asked to come in. I said absolutely not. I asked how they found me. Wayne had said that he'd hired somebody and it wasn't that hard. He said he wanted me to come with him somewhere to talk. There was the house next door was under construction, and there were workers there, and they started making a racket, and he and I, it distracted him, and I shut the door. I wanted to leave immediately.
And explain to me, why are you deathly afraid of him?
I thought the last time I'd seen him, he'd taken a baseball bat.
Back from the baseball thing.
Yeah,
So that's why I used to, okay.
yeah.
That makes sense, I'm just trying.
Yeah, no. You know,
Had he ever hit you prior to that?
yeah.
Okay. What was his reason then, you think, for hitting you or attacking you?
I don't know. Things had gotten very bad with the family, and I never quite understood it. It started with my brother Chris. You know, kind of this, you know, this very antagonistic relationship, antagonistic attitude towards Mindy. And when I tried to like set some just very basic boundaries, like, hey, you know, I'm not going to talk to Chris, you know, and you know, I want you to respect our relationship. That was when things kind of jumped off. I mean, even when we were living with Frank and Megan, I think everybody in that house got calls or texts or emails from him trying to figure out where I was.
Okay. So after that, did they leave or?
Yeah, so he left. I went out the back. As is kind of, I guess, something that happens in Savannah, you have these almost alleys behind each street. So I went out the back door. You know, we locked the doors. You know, Mindy had her phone. I went out the back door and walked around the corner to where there was you know, 2 blocks up there's a hospital where there was normally security sitting in the parking lot. And Jim picked me up from there. You know, we got it. He said he didn't think we should be moving right away. Thought it was a bad time.
So Jim lives in Savannah?
I don't know where Jim lives.
I mean, he just showed up right then?
Yeah. He appeared to be in the area. It was not a long time. He brought me to a Target so that I could buy like a little video camera, like one of those security cameras. He said, you know, this will make you feel safer. Like they're going to be leaving the area, I think. Told me to contact the Savannah Police Department, file a report so that he showed up at Mindy's mother's place of business.
I'm sorry, but is this the first trial that we get to ask a defense team, a defendant, where are the reports? So Jim takes this guy to a Target. Jim McIntyre takes this guy to a Target to help him buy a camera and whatever. We might get the receipts for this. And then says, you know what, you should go make a report. You should go to the police station and make a report. I want to see this report.
That she could both tell like the front desk like, hey, this person shouldn't be allowed in, and like please call the police, like you can reference this report.
Okay.
Which I did.
Okay.
So I made a report with the Savannah Police Department at that time. Okay. Now, Thanksgiving week. I think it was the day after Thanksgiving. I believe it was that Friday. Her blood pressure had been really bad, and she said she'd had a long conversation with the doctor about the fact that we felt like we'd been stalked for years.
Mm-hmm.
We were very worried. I wanted her to go to the emergency room. She had at this point, I think, 3 pretty bad emergency room visits in a row. She had one way back in early 2017. She had hurt her back, and we went to the ER at Fort Belvoir, and the doctor treated her like she was there.
What? The doctor treated her like she was there?
The doctor treated her like she was there, like drug seeking, basically. And she was in horrible pain. So four bad ER visits, and that summer, July 2017, she had an abscess in her mouth that was in a lot of pain, and we went to an emergency room that was basically like a sea dentist, and she's like, I just want antibiotics until the dentist opens. I don't want pain medicine. I just want antibiotics. I'm worried about this infection in my head. We had been to a hospital in Beaufort, the emergency room, when she had COVID in late 2020, and did not feel like the care was good. And then going thinking, she was pregnant and being told that she had actually lost a baby. She did not want to go to the emergency room. So she talked to this doctor. She said that he was aware of the situation, that he worked at kind of like a birthing center, he was affiliated, there were doctors there who had admitting privileges, but she felt she would be more comfortable there. And that, we would, and she said that we would get her blood pressure under control, and then, we would be ready to leave. I was in the process of looking at some apartments for her parents. So he said that he was going to pick her up at some point in the next few days, so that I wasn't driving my car there.
So you wouldn't, I didn't understand, why would you not drive your car there?
Because we were still very worried about being met by Wayne.
And that was the doctor saying he would come by?
Yes, yeah. So I went to look at an apartment. We knew that Mindy's dad had hip replacement surgery coming up. So we were trying to find a place with minimal stairs, or at least some option to avoid the stairs. So I went out. I think this is either Friday or Saturday of that week.
Okay.
I went out and I met with one person in Savannah. It would not have worked for him. I then drove out to Hilton Head, and she told me that she had fallen twice, and that she was having some bleeding. She had kind of breakthrough bleeding at points. She said that the doctor told her this was completely normal. 20% of women will have some level of bleeding throughout their pregnancy.
Okay.
So I was in Hilton Head. She said, I said I was worried, and I was going to come right back. She said that the doctor was on the way, and would be back shortly. She would be there shortly, and then she would let me know. She sent me a message that she had been checked in, that like they were gonna figure out over the next couple of days how long she was gonna be there. And
Did she say she got checked in?
yeah,
And this was the week roughly of Thanksgiving?
yeah, this was either Friday or Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
I went back to the house, and she wasn't there, and let Jim know that she was, going to this birthing center with this doctor that she had been working with. And he told me, so Freddie and Betsy were not there. They'd gone to Hilton Head for the holiday. Matthew works at a kind of Cajun restaurant down there called Kenny B's. They like fried cookies or something.
Okay.
So he can make extra money if he's there for that. So they were down there together. Jim told me when they came back that he'd prefer, while we were figuring out what was going on, not to tell them that she wasn't in the house. That he didn't want them saying something. He was uncomfortable with the setup of her being elsewhere when we had issues just shortly before. I talked to her. We were texting. We texted on and off. Sunday, she seemed.
What do you recall what her number was?
I don't recall her number.
Do you know your number?
No. We switched numbers a lot.
So it was on the Signal app?
Yeah, it was on the Signal app.
Okay.
No, we switched numbers a lot throughout this time, just because we were, if I had one too long, I would start getting texts on it saying, I found your new number, I'm going to kill you. That I assumed that I assumed were from Wayne.
Okay.
And they came back Sunday afternoon. Monday or Tuesday, I woke up to a message saying that, that she had talked to them and they felt like she was going to be there at least an extra couple of days, and that we should be prepared to depart the area as soon as she was released. I was asked to, maybe this was Sunday. First, Sunday I was asked to get all our stuff in order, to pack everything up, which was no small task. We had a bunch of stuff.
Who asked you that?
She did. So she said hey, can you get things packed up just so we have it ready to go.
Okay.
So I went.
So what did that include?
I mean, it included, we had taken some personal effects with us when we initially left Alexandria that were, the things that were important to us, but all our clothes, books, electronics, all toiletries. She had a lot of makeup.
You had U-Haul for it.
Yeah, no. So I figured that at this point I had a Ford Explorer that I had gotten while we were there. I got my Georgia driver's license. I had purchased a new Ford Explorer. And with, it had a third row seat that you could knock down and create a decent amount of packing space. So I started, repacking all of our stuff that had been, unpacked for months.
So when did you get that Explorer?
July or August,
Okay.
late July, early August.
Your Honor, I think now might be an appropriate time.
Give a call.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and break for lunch. It's 12:30. I'm going to ask you to be back here no later than 1:45. So you've got about an hour and 15 minutes.
1:45. All right. Court in recess.
Your Honor, I'm going to connect exactly where we left.
All right, thank you.
Where did you get it from?
JC Lewis, maybe?
And I guess the big question, how do you pay for
So at this point, I had received some of money that Jim had told me that he was helping procure.
How's the volume, you guys? I put it to where we normally would when a regular person's testifying, but since this is audio, I think this is quieter than we had it, right? Turn this up a little bit. Let me know if this is easier to hear.
How did you receive that money from Kim? Cash?
No, it was wired. It was wired to my bank account.
Okay. So you just wired the money to JC Lewis?
I actually took an Uber out there and got a cashier's check and then brought it to them.
Okay. All right, so you got that. She wanted you to pack up everything.
Yeah, and then either Monday or Tuesday, I'm a little unclear which.
Okay.
I woke up to a message saying, actually, take 2 Tupperwares. So we had most of our stuff. We had a couple of large duffel bags, and then we had a lot of the, is Tupperware the right word? I feel like that's for food.
Plastic.
Yeah, like plastic, like a ready-made, like those things. I woke up to that. So I woke up to saying, pack 2 of those in one. Put some clothes of mine, extra toiletries for me, things that I would need for like a week or 2, basically. And in hers, she wanted something similar. She wanted some clothes, some dresses, some sweaters, toiletries, books.
And this was her signaling you this?
Yes.
Okay.
Some, like her Kindle, like some books, some she had those like adult coloring books. Her medicine, and last week I picked up a new prescription for Synthroid. So she asked that I put that in there, and said that I was going to meet somebody. I was going to get a call from somebody, and he would tell me where to drop those off, and that that they would be with her so that she could use them, and then we would have them.
Okay.
So I did that.
When you say you did that, you just got the containers ready? Or?
I got the containers ready. A man called me, said, "Hey, can you come drop these off?"
And you didn't know who that was?
I didn't know who he was. I assumed he worked with the clinic. He said he understood that we were worried. Would I turn off my phones and use a GP, like an old school GPS unit that we had?
Okay.
Yeah.
And I said yes. He gave me the coordinates. It was kind of in the middle of nowhere, but
Do you remember where it was at?
I don't. It was a little outside Savannah, but I don't know much about it. I dropped off the containers with him.
Do you remember if it was on a paved road or a dirt road?
I think it was dirt. I don't know if that was just the driveway though. I don't know. It was
And describe him to me.
A little shorter than me, probably 6 feet tall. Youngish, like in his probably early 30s, curly red hair.
Okay.
Fairly close cropped. I dropped it off. I asked if he needed anything else from me. He said no.
I'm assuming you said curly red hair with white name?
Yes, sorry, white now.
What vehicle was he driving?
I don't know. So I went to a house that I thought was his.
House on a dirt road, and you just had coordinates.
Yes.
You didn't have an address.
I did not have an address. He said it was a little hard to find with an address on GPS.
Okay. So you dropped those off.
I dropped those off. I spoke to.
Shout out to Tavis TV again. Holy moly.
I drove back. I spoke to Jim. I said,
Roughly how long did you think you had to travel to get there?
I'm not really sure. I mean,
You took some paper roads naturally from where you went.
30, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know, 30 minutes, 45 minutes? I'm not really sure where he was.
30 to 45 minutes. Was it daytime or night?
It was daytime.
Okay.
It was early in the day. I came back.
When you say early in the day.
Yeah.
What was early? Because early in the day, 4 a.m.
No, not that early.
So,
probably 9, 10 in the morning, something like that.
okay.
I got back and I spoke to Jim, and I said, I felt that again, I was in a bad situation, saying that, not saying that Mindy was elsewhere.
But you didn't ask when you dropped the containers off to see her.
No, my understanding was that was just some guy's house, like,
Okay.
that was not where she was.
Okay. And that this guy was supposed to deliver the bins to Emergencies.
Yeah.
Okay.
What the bins look like? You said like a ring, maybe what, what color they were?
I think one was gray and one was black, but I'm not really sure.
Okay.
We went through, we were moving around for a couple of years. We went through a lot of bins.
So that's kind of, you used those bins usually and moved around.
Yeah.
That's how you move.
Yeah. We had some clear ones at one point that just seemed to shatter.
And we'd say that y'all have those bins or tubs or Tupperware, whatever. How many are we talking? Are you like 15, 20?
No, not that many.
How many would y'all normally have? Because obviously y'all had to move quickly.
Yeah, 8 to 10 of them, and then like 3 or 4 guys.
When you were in Hilton Head, you had how many?
We didn't have anywhere to put anything except for there, so they were kept in Frank's garage.
Okay.
So it's one of those houses that's got the ground level is just a garage, and it's got the living levels that like the floors. Yeah, floors.
All right. So 8 to 10 would be the common.
Yeah, I think
Just to throw them in there. Okay.
Yeah.
But when we bring them in, did they have lids on?
Yes. Yeah. All of our beds had lids. Had lids. Sorry.
Okay. So you carried stuff out of there. You dropped it off to him.
Dropped it off to him.
You don't remember like how you traveled there? Like did you take the interstate?
I'm not sure.
Some paid, some don't.
Yeah. No. I mean, I didn't go out much while I was in Savannah.
Okay.
Like just to get.
But he was on a long dirt driveway.
I believe so. Yes.
Describe the house to me.
It was brown with yellow trim.
Okay.
Not a huge house or anything, but
Just a normal house.
Yeah. Kind of like a I don't know the house terms that you call that, like a rambler or something.
Okay. So new vehicles.
Not that I recall.
Okay. All right. And were your loans in or?
Yeah, he came outside, I unloaded them right off the ground. He said he would take them in. I asked if he needed help. He said no.
Was Rusty with you?
No, he was not. Yeah, Rusty was back at the house.
Okay. All right, and then what happened?
I drove back. I had that morning. I had talked to Jim before I left, saying that I was uncomfortable with Mindy's parents not knowing that she was at the hospital. He said, before I left, to say that I was going to, or before they left, they were leaving for work, to say that I was going to bring her to the doctor, and then to say that she was there. He said that he understood it was longer than expected, but. Like, when she's on bed rest, like, we could all, it's not a huge house, but we could all hear her, like, on the phone. Like, I felt like I was.
But it wasn't, when you say hospital, it wasn't traditional.
It was not a traditional hospital, yeah.
So you told them that she was at the hospital?
No, so that morning I told them that I was going to bring her per his instructions. And then this is either Monday or Tuesday after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And then I came back. I talked to Jim again. He said to say that she's going to be there for a handful of days. That we were on the last steps of finding a place for them. We were all I was probably going to be picking her up and departing almost immediately. And that we were going to get them, into a place.
Okay. So basically you told them that y'all were separating, that y'all would take care of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Betsy and Frank came back?
They came back Sunday.
They came back Sunday?
Yeah.
And other than this trip you took to drop off the containers, did you go anywhere else that you recall?
Not that I recall. I might have run out to the store or something, but I don't really remember. I got a message asking to pick up a couple things, but I forget.
You know what those things were?
It's like a sweatshirt.
Okay.
I forget what else. But I think it was pretty quick. Like, I was running up just to get something at Publix or CVS, which was within I could have walked there in probably 10 minutes. But
Where did you normally shop?
like their food,
Mm-hmm.
the Publix. There's a Publix not far from there. We had we got delivery from there for quite a while, but
Yeah, because a lot of people changed on me.
yeah. But then when Wayne showed up, we were told that I should go out and get rather than it being like another company that knows where that we're still getting food delivered there.
Another avenue for them to use.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you dropped the containers off.
Drop the containers off either Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
I continued talking with Mindy through Wednesday.
You said your phones were off and you used the GPS. You know what that GPS is now?
I believe it was burned with the rest of my car about a month and a half ago.
Okay.
So you continue talking to her up to Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday. Just messaging back and forth. She said she was feeling better, and Thursday morning I got a call from somebody saying could I come pick her up that sometime that afternoon? I forget exactly what time.
Okay.
I was given an address in Savannah. I don't recall exactly where it was. I drove out there that afternoon. It was a brick building. Somebody was waiting outside and brought me to, like an office and said that Mindy passed away.
You said it was a brick building?
Yeah,
How far away from the house was it?
I think within 15, 20 minutes.
Okay.
But I think it was driving through like some neighborhoods, like it wasn't like quick going.
So they brought you in. Did you talk to the doctor or?
I talked to a doctor. I was wearing a white coat.
So white coat.
An older man. Not anybody I had seen before.
And they said she passed from what?
At that point, he said that she just passed away very suddenly, and that they thought it might have been her heart, but they weren't sure.
Okay.
I went back to the house and told Betsy and Frank.
Can you give me, you said you had the address. There's some landmarks in Savannah that are pretty specific. Do you know where the globe is at?
No,
You've never seen the globe?
I don't think I've ever seen the club.
You mentioned hospital. That y'all were near the hospital?
Yeah, we were near a hospital.
So you traveled, you said 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you remember any other, like, you said it's in a residential area? And it was.
Yeah, I was driving through like residential areas.
Residential areas to get there.
Yeah.
The building was like an office building?
Yeah, it appeared to be.
So it was a good business?
Like a one level, yeah. Like
So one level. Was there a sign out front?
Not that I recall, but there might have been. I don't know.
What about parking lot? Was it more like
Almost more like a strip mall. Like there was parking like right in front. Like I pulled in and
you remember any of the stores that were in the strip mall?
No.
Okay. Okay. Do you remember passing anything going by there? Like,
At one point, I drove through a neighborhood that had like larger, nicer houses. I remember
Okay.
that. I've seen the park in Savannah like once, the famous park, but I didn't see it. I didn't see it the entire time I was there. So
at some point, would you be willing to ride with us and attempt to show us the house?
Yeah.
Or show us the location again and find it?
Absolutely.
Okay. Because you understand you'll have like an extradition here and you know all about that.
I believe
I
I already requested to waive it.
You wait for the extradition. Okay. So at some point, you'll be coming back, and that's what I was just making sure you'd be willing to talk to us to try to figure out where that location is.
Yes, absolutely.
So you have signed the paperwork away the extradition?
Yeah, but somebody gave it to me when they checked me.
Yeah, quick. Usually it takes a few days.
No,
They're ready to get rid of you. I thought it seemed like a pretty nice guy to me. Get it down. Okay, but at some point you'll be able to work with us to show us where you think that house is.
Yeah.
Or a business.
Yeah.
Can you describe it any further?
No, I mean, I pulled in, I was, you know.
You said somebody came out.
Yeah, so somebody came out of, you know, there were glass doors. He came out, you know, as I pulled in, and you know, brought me right in.
And did they carry you into like a lobby, or did they carry you into the room?
I believe there was like a lobby to the left, and then he brought me like into a different like office, but.
Wow. And then they told you that she had passed away.
Yeah,
And what did you do then?
I yelled and sobbed.
Okay.
I mean, I was a wreck. He had some paperwork that he had me sign.
Did they give you a copy of that?
No.
Okay. And what was the paperwork?
He said it was just releasing her remains and you know, releasing her medical records so that so that I could have those. He said that he was going to that he was awaiting an autopsy, and that I would be contacted with the results of that.
Okay. And then what did you do?
I drove back to the house and told Betsy and Frank.
Okay. And then what did you do?
I don't really recall the rest of that evening.
All right, and that evening, but what did you do next?
The next day, I got a call saying that the autopsy had been completed and that she had a stroke, and possibly brought on, you know, by some combination of the high blood pressure and what they said appeared to be COVID-related heart damage.
Okay. Then what did you do?
I don't know. I was. I wanted to be gone as, you know, as quickly as possible. I didn't want to be in the house anymore. I think sometime early the next week, I got her parents into an apartment in Hilton Head.
Okay. So early the next week?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. So you drove them to Hilton Head?
Yeah. They packed up their car. I packed up my car with their stuff. We went to a storage unit and their storage unit.
Okay.
They have one right in Hilton Head, and then to the apartment. I moved them in.
Okay.
I went back, I packed up my stuff. I believe I left that night. I drove to Jacksonville to get mail. I had mail there that couldn't be shipped. So I did
Mail that couldn't be shipped.
it had alcohol in it. A friend had shipped me some beer, but they did it like, you know, the right way, you know, via UPS. And
So you picked up some mail in Jacksonville?
Yep. Somebody contacted me and said that they had cremated her body. I was extremely upset. I thought that I was going to, get to make a decision on where she was sent.
Do you know who that person was?
Now, he said that the fee was $5,000 payable in cash.
Okay. Did you pay that?
I did. I met him the next day in Montgomery. I withdrew $5,000 in cash and
Montgomery,
Alabama. I believe Montgomery.
And how much, he's 5,000 cash, and describe him to you.
He was, I saw him kind of very briefly.
White male, black male?
White male, dark hair, average builds, average height, probably 5'8" to 5'10". I gave him the money. He gave me, a bag with her ashes in it. I had ordered I'd overnighted myself an urn, so I had something to put it in.
And where's her ashes now?
I scattered them at Havre de Grace.
Okay.
The Chesapeake was one of her favorite places, and it's considered the mouth of the Chesapeake. I scattered the ashes there, and I dropped our.
Where did you said you paid 5,000 cash? Where did you meet him at?
I met him right in downtown. I believe it was Montgomery. It's whichever one of Birmingham and Montgomery is further north.
Like Winkies, or where did you meet?
Yeah, he gave me a street address and just on the side of the road.
Okay, so you met side of the road. Yeah. And he got the ashes.
Yeah.
How were they packaged?
They were in a thick, clear plastic bag with then a kind of nicer velvet bag around them.
Okay. What was the driver?
I think an older white SUV, but I'm not exactly sure.
Okay.
That's what sticks in my mind.
But he called and provided you with the address to meet side of the road.
He called.
But you don't remember the address or anything around?
No. I remember it was kind of down. This is my first time in Alabama. I've been connecting, but it seemed like kind of the downtown area.
What else did he give you?
He didn't give me anything else. So he gave me that. I gave him the money.
Did you ever inquire about a death certificate?
No, I did not. No, I should have.
Okay. And then what happened?
I drove to St. Louis per Jim's instructions.
Had you told Jim that she had passed away, that Mindy passed?
Yes, I had.
What did you tell that she had passed? And then mother and father?
Mother and father, they told her brothers, her best friend.
Who's that?
Angela Wynn.
Okay.
A former coworker of hers, Elizabeth Seeger.
Okay. You said best friend, who was that?
Angela Wynn.
I didn't write that down fast enough. You said it.
That's okay. Yeah, W-O-Y-N-N.
Okay.
Angela Elizabeth. Her prior boss, Joe West, he was kind of hard to get in touch with.
Joe West.
Yeah.
Okay. Who else?
Her friend DJ, I forget, David John, I think is his name.
Okay.
Or David, I don't know.
That is something.
Yeah.
Okay.
and her friend Anisha. I forget Anisha's last name. Oh, Pryor.
Okay. And so then, after you left Montgomery, you said you went to
St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Yep.
What did you do in St. Louis?
Filed for a legal change of name.
Okay. And what did you change your name to?
Nicholas Killian James Stark.
And that's what we put on the
Yeah.
form, okay? Okay. And-
We picked out that last name together. We had been given a list of choices from Jim,
Okay.
what he thought were fairly anonymous, one-syllable names. And
How can I get in touch with Jim?
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh no?
How would you get in touch with Jim?
He would message me daily, and I would respond. His number would change, and then I would just switch to the new number.
Because you said you changed phones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So when you get out, how are you going to get in touch with Jim, I guess?
I don't know. I haven't been in touch with him for.
He'd have to find you.
Yeah.
When you said at first that he told Mindy he was an FBI agent,
Yeah. Yeah, we had both filed online reports about things, and then he showed up at the house.
Alright, so you St. Louis, you changed your name, where'd you go from there?
From there, I went to Pennsylvania to see a friend,
Friends.
Okay.
and then I went to
And who's that friend?
Sam Kolesnik.
The third wife.
I think I know the last name.
KOL.
K-O-M.
ESNIK.
Okay. Okay.
Now my wife.
Okay, alright.
Pretty quick thing.
You said it was pretty quick.
Yeah.
Okay. Had you and her had an online relationship for quite a while?
No.
Okay. When did you meet Sam?
We started talking kind of that fall.
The fall of
Fall of 2020.
2020?
No, sorry, 2022.
Fall of 2022. So you and Mindy were still together?
Yeah.
Okay. How did y'all meet?
Twitter.
Okay. Okay. And so then you kind of, the relationship developed then?
Yeah. Yep. I went to Charlottesville to see some friends. I still kind of lived in that area.
Okay. And what happened then?
Jim told me to move to Wilmington.
Okay. So when did you get married?
April 21st.
Okay. So you married Sam. Okay. And Jim said move where?
To Wilmington,
Okay. In Wilmington, North Carolina?
Delaware.
Delaware, okay. And did you?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And then where'd you move?
Then I was there for a little over 2 months, and then I moved to Pennsylvania,
Okay.
Lancaster area.
You mentioned earlier that your car had burned.
Yeah, so two things happened,
Okay.
which led me to stop talking to Betsy and Frank. We had a conversation, and I had mentioned that I was in Wilmington, and several nights later, I was unpacking some things into the place I was staying. This was in February. And came down, and somebody was in the car. Grabbed a backpack with 2 computers and a phone in it, and took off.
So 2 computers and a phone.
Yeah.
And so they were stolen when?
February of this year, 2023.
Okay. And did you report those stolen?
I did not.
Okay.
I spoke to Jim. He said that he felt it was very suspicious that this had happened. Right after I had told Betsy and Frank where I was, and that he was going to take some time to look through, to look into the situation.
Okay.
Just over a month later, I was driving and my car started acting funny and then burst into flames.
How long had you been driving that day? Like it immediately started up and drove it and burned out? Or
An hour or two.
Okay.
I was coming down a hill to make a turn. It felt like it was a little harder to steer than it should have been. I felt something a little strange. I smelled something a little strange. That at that point I wasn't sure what it was. Around here you get a lot of farm smell, so that's not unusual. I stopped at a point where it seemed fairly, straight in both directions. It's kind of a windy road. There wasn't a shoulder, and realized there was smoke in the car.
Okay.
I got out. I crossed over, so I was out of traffic, and realized that my phone was on the passenger seat.
Okay.
I opened the passenger door and fire kind of came out right after. I hit my head on a tree. I had some burns.
Did he say he hit his head on a tree? Didn't the car burn in like a parking lot? It was like in an open area in the picture. It looked like. Maybe I'm imagining the picture. Hold on.
My phone was on the passenger seat.
Okay.
I opened the passenger door and fire kind of came out right after. I hit my head on a tree. I had some burns.
Did you get your phone?
I didn't get my phone.
Okay. Did you get your head on the tree and it had some burns?
Yeah, I burned. I don't know if you can still tell or not. This eyebrow. I lost a lot of hair on the side of the head. I had some face and neck burns.
And you just told me that I don't want to take it out of that. So that would have been when?
This was March 20th.
Okay. March 20th. All right.
So,
did you call the fire department or were you?
I did. I called 911. I didn't know where I was. I had to find a cross street. Police and fire department came out and paramedics. And then we went to the emergency room later that day, and and the nurses were really upset. They said that I had burned hair inside my nostrils. And that's a sign that fire has come down the throat. And
Okay.
So I have not, I don't know what caused the fire. It was in the same area that the bag was stolen from, which is something that raised my suspicion, but at the same time, that last year's Ford Explorers had some fire issues. So
those Ford Explorers.
yeah, they had multiple recalls
Okay.
for
Because I've been wondering, are we going to find out that he knew about a recall before this car sets on fire? Because what if the recall came about, it's a 2000, I think it was 2020 to 2021 or 22 models. It was either 2 or 3 year range, but it falls over whatever year model his car is, but not the specific packaging of his car. But recalls tend to get issued after a car is out. And I was wondering, well, what if a recall was issued and he said, oh, that's a good idea?
Was it fire in the engine department?
Yeah.
Okay.
The gentleman who towed it. I went out to look at it, and it appeared to be. He said it appeared to have started in the passenger side of the engine block, but he couldn't be sure.
The driver said passenger side of the engine block.
Yeah. So I've,
What did your insurance company say?
the insurance company seems to think it was mechanical and not tied to that. They just asked at the end of last week for the title so that
Okay.
they could close it out. So that it might not be related at all.
So you haven't got a check yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's taken a while.
What company is it?
Cure?
Who?
Cure? C-U-R-E? It's a small regional company.
Okay. You might want to change insurance.
Yeah, no, that's I've been told.
How much you pay for it?
43, 44.
Okay. You'll probably get like 20.
This is 38. I was actually surprised. Yeah, I was very surprised. Yeah, so shortly after the fire, my friend Cameron Nelson reached out and said that Betsy had called her and said that she had been told I died in an accident.
And what did Cameron tell her?
So Cameron at this point and I had not spoken in a little while. Cameron said that she had not heard from me. She said that Betsy asked if she knew where my will or trust may have been drawn up. And Cameron said she did not know. And
Did you ever call him and tell him you were alive?
I did not. I was a little concerned about where I spoke with Jim. Probably one of the last times we spoke, and I said, why do they think I'm dead? And he said that he had not had any contact with them, and that he didn't know. He didn't know where that had come from. And that he would recommend not contacting them.
When's the last time you talked to Jim?
Last time I talked to Jim was probably sometime that week, last week of March.
Okay.
maybe the following week, maybe the first week of April.
Okay, and when's the last time you physically saw him?
Last time I physically saw him was, I think, the first week I got to Wilmington. He showed up.
Okay. And when was that?
It was the week before, between Christmas and New Year's.
What's the last phone you used to contact Jim with? Do you still have it?
I do still have it, though it doesn't still have service on
Okay. So if we needed a number for Jim, we could get it off that phone.
it. I think so, yeah, it should still be in the signal there.
But did he only communicate you through Signal, or were you get like emails from him, or?
No, I don't think I've ever received an email from him.
Okay.
Um,
So how did y'all share the software development if you never even?
he can send files through Signal.
Okay.
Do you know what company Jim was selling or burglaring the software to?
No.
Anybody know?
No, I mean, he said different things, like at some points he said Microsoft, at some points he said, maybe there would be a government use, but I was never sure, and I thought that was kind of part of the point for him was that he didn't want me to know. Okay. So you should tell me I didn't scatter Mindy's ashes.
What's that?
I didn't scatter Mindy's ashes.
You didn't scatter Mindy's ashes. What about, what happened next? What do you remember next?
Honestly, things have, things have been kind of quiet, lately.
Let me ask you again about Jim, just to make sure I understand. How did you meet Jim?
He showed up at the house one day. I was at work and spoke with Mindy.
Okay. And came to the house where?
Alexandria.
Okay. So he kind of followed y'all down and kept following you and?
Yeah. I don't know where he was normally. I don't know where he resides. I don't know.
And he says he's a white male.
White male, probably late 40s, light brown hair, gray on his temples. I don't know. Between 5'10" and 6 foot, I would guess.
Okay.
Fairly slim.
Do you know where he came originally from or what company he worked for?
No.
Okay.
No, he didn't.
He just first introduced as FBI.
Yeah, I wasn't there that day. Later on, when we asked about it, there were, so during like 2018 and 2019, there were, there's just, points where things would get like really scary and, and there was a weekend where he said, he felt that we would be safer leaving the house for the weekend. I think it was a holiday weekend.
So he's just doing this basically for free?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he works basically security for free?
Yeah.
Okay. And he moved multiple states?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, you saw him in multiple
We've seen him in multiple states, yeah.
So when we would do, you would see him, he would come and
Yeah, I don't know if he
you'd see him in a new location.
we'd see him in a new location. I don't know, I'd assumed that he was actually living in the, the low country area, the Savannah, Hilton Head area. When we were there, just because we saw him more often there than we'd seen him anywhere else.
And at some point, tell me about how the software thing became. I mean, y'all were sitting drinking beer and come up with that?
No, he had said that he could introduce me to somebody. He put me on the phone with somebody. He said, needed this, and it would be a way, when I was getting uncomfortable leaving the house every day, and was also just not happy with the position I was in at the time.
And he said needed this. Describe what this is.
A way to make money.
Okay.
Yeah. So he thought it would offer a way to make money for me.
What's the software for?
This AI analyzing large bits of it, like intelligence analysis.
Okay.
Did you have any background in that?
Yeah, I had originally majored in computer science in college. It's something I'd done in high school, and then I got to college and said, after a couple semesters that I thought I'd switch and do pre-law instead. And then
And what does Sam know about any of this?
not a lot,
Okay.
very little.
Does she know anything about your past with your family or anything?
Yes.
She didn't know about Jim.
No.
And why? Why did you choose not to tell her about Jim?
I felt like it has taken me, 5 years to get to, a point, where I can put this behind me.
Okay.
And, I didn't want her, I didn't want her to think about that.
Okay. Do you recall going to Home Depot in Savannah
All the time.
all the time? Which Home Depot did you use?
I think I went to two different ones, but the one I went to more is across the street from Parker's.
Okay. You familiar with Victory Drive?
Victory Drive, that's it. Yeah.
Do you remember during this time doing a purchase and knife?
I think so. I think I purchased a couple of things. There were issues at the house with mosquitoes coming up from underneath the house.
Mhm.
So, but I didn't know where they were getting in. So,
Okay. So this was the knife was for mosquitoes to try to
It was to cut screen.
Okay.
So I had in the house I thought they were somehow entering the HVAC somewhere. What I think was actually happening was that they were when they were coming into the house one way, then they would get in the HVAC and move from room to room.
Do you recall, is that you?
Yeah, that's
That's you. And is that the knife you used?
I think so.
Okay. And was this the,
Yeah, I think so.
you recall at times that the date stamp, mid 29?
I don't recall.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm sure that's right.
Okay.
I think it was in the car. I think I just saw it.
It was in,
I believe so. The insurance company has the car, so
okay.
I believe that and the GPS were in the back section.
There we go.
So you get into the very back. You can lift up the like a panel. It was like a little,
Coming home?
yeah. So I thought that it and the GPS,
So GPS and
yeah, extension cord, like stuff like that were in there.
Okay.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that I had it because I left a lot of stuff. I left a lot of stuff with Mindy's dad. For the footstool I used to get up and all the because it's all like they were all on the roof.
Okay.
You're a tall guy.
Yeah, but they're not that tall.
What next? What happened next?
I woke up yesterday morning
Okay.
and
And what are you doing as far as work-wise now?
right now I'm looking for my next position.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna restart my law license.
Okay.
That hasn't been an active status in some time,
And what does your wife do?
she works for a food technology company.
Okay. And does she have any kids?
She has one daughter.
And have you talked to her since your arrest?
No,
Okay.
I don't know her phone number. I guess it's a.
Just been trusted, it's always gonna be on the cell phone.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I haven't had to consider a cell phone and a number without a cell phone.
And you mentioned about giving, the guys, that you're giving Jim a DNA test sample. Would you be willing to give us one?
Yeah.
Doing the DNA. Well, shout out to Kay Schmidt. Good to see you, Kay Schmidt. You missed some crazy today so
Once you
far.
get back to Georgia, we'll be able to have some more information.
How long until I'm back?
Yeah, so the transports are probably, let's see what the day is. It's probably one day next week.
Okay.
See, the city here is going to Lancaster, and it's Lancaster County as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
They like that.
Virginia has that too. You have like Fairfax County and Fairfax, Virginia. And the cities are their own counties. It's weird.
It's better than Louisiana, it's got parishes. So they're little mini states.
I'll let you fill out there and there. And then basically just the waiver of constitutional rights. I'll let you read it though. Just go through it, not yet.
When Jim's bar, you'll look back on it.
Yeah, I mean, it was different ones. Yeah, I mean, it made me think sometimes he was renting or, the one the day I went to, to get the camera was like a sedan, and dark, like a dark gray or black.
That's when they wanted to target.
Yeah. I believe also in the victory driver, that target. Yeah, I think it's a target bag. Yeah, I don't know if it's.
That's a big plaza. Big plaza.
Does that camera record anything, or was it just, live feed?
I think it was just live feed. Like I get like alerts on my phone.
Okay. And was it up during the time that Mindy was at the hospital?
Yeah.
Did you see anybody come up there from the house during that period?
I don't recall. I don't remember checking it.
Okay.
I mean, like I would mostly like check it, like, you know, when like Frank and Betsy were coming back, or when I was about to come back, just to make sure there was nobody sitting out front. Like you got a lot of traffic there, so it was like little things were always going, like the little alerts.
Without it, just coming from that side. I should shut it up. Same way it's not painful or anything, you know how it is. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is get you just to initial it or sign it.
How did she die?
Cause of manner is gonna be an official report, but that's something we probably don't need to release right now.
Okay.
We may be able to ask from our district attorney, to be able to tell you that when you get back.
Okay.
So you went to 21 years in Boston?
School, yeah. Like, you know, in school, 4 years of undergrad, 3 years of law school, and then an LLM program, which was, I think it took me 2 years.
What college did you go to?
Boston University, Northeastern Law, and then Georgetown for the LLM.
No, VA, through the Navy, while you were in the Navy, you did all that?
No, so the Navy only sends you to law school if you are already like an officer, like, and you've done a couple years. So I did college and law school on my own, and then I used the GI Bill for the LLM.
How long were you in the Navy for?
10 years.
10 years.
Ish. I mean, so I came on active duty 2008. I guess I left active duty 2017, but I had some reserve time before, I had inactive reserve time before, and then drilling reserve time after.
What made you decide to get out?
The moving, you know, the Navy JAG Corps puts a big impetus on geographic diversity, as they call it. So.
Geographic diversity.
Yeah, so you know, we were talking about starting a family, and
Or you can wait till I get the other one if you want to. I gotta see what that's alright. You put the date on it for me?
It's
13.
May 13th? Sure.
Sign it now.
So if you don't mind me asking, when was the last time you were discharged?
I think things started getting bad 2017.
A lot of stuff happened in 2017.
Yeah.
Any particular reason that it went bad between you and him?
I don't know. I mean, so, you know, it started with Chris and me, things getting bad, and I was seeing a therapist at the time who felt that there were some, really unhealthy family dynamics, and that, I should set some boundaries, and, the reaction, I spent a lot of time, like, really, thinking through how to like frame things, and thought that it was kind of a not asking him to take sides, but that the reaction was awful.
Did you and your brother, what was your brother's name? Chris, did you and Chris get along when they were younger, or just
when we were younger, we did, yeah.
So pretty much just Mindy was born then?
Yeah, they had a kind of series of conversations that went very poorly, and
What politics was it?
So not directly though. Like at one point, like she posted something. It was
Guys, Jim is here. Jim is in the chat.
that was about politics, and he took it to be very personal.
Dated to you.
23.
Wait, how many were there?
23, 5, 13, 23.
I don't know if I did these 23.
Can't find out.
I'm
We'll
sorry.
find one on a date. Try to so Irish.
Yeah, it was the day that Congressman Scalise was shot in Alexandria, and she posted something about like how toxic things are, that this is happening, and
What kind of work did she do on that?
she worked at an advocacy company called the ASPBA, the American Society for Plastic Bag something. So she did advocacy work for the plastic bag industry.
Okay.
And she left that to run an event company and launch a podcast about women.
Okay.
What?
And that was back early, like,
Yeah, so that was late 2017. I think she started that.
how did you get her?
Well, we met online on like a dating app.
Okay.
I forget which one. Only Fish or something.
Yeah, some things we can't answer at this point. Yeah, I'll tell you we can, but if you have any questions, with us.
I don't know. I don't even know what to think about this. I mean, this is.
So when you get back to Georgia next week, we'll sit down with you again.
Okay.
Basically give you a ride to Savannah, try to help.
Okay.
So be thinking more about that location. Because it's going to be very important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else you can think
of? Just how was y'all's relationship throughout the entire marriage? Y'all good?
I mean, we had some really stressful couple of years, but
what stressed you out about? Just the moves? Or?
Yeah, the moves, feeling like we were in danger. The stuff with Frank. I don't know. Frank. I felt like Frank really changed, and I don't know if it was the stuff with his boss or his accident or just he just got sick of us. But
you talking about a brother?
Yeah. Sorry, her brother.
What about her father? How did you get along with him?
I got along well with him. They had always had a difficult relationship, and got worse at certain points. He's somebody who likes to make jokes at other people's expense. I think it's it is what it is. I think they had a very hard time, getting along over the years.
Well, what about your relationship with Betsy? How's that?
Good. I mean, I thought of her as a mother, right? She's, Mindy and she were very, very close.
So earlier when I told you I was in Liberty County, you looked taken aback. It's outside Savannah, Georgia.
Okay.
And obviously, this investigation involves my jurisdiction. So, have you ever been to Liberty County or know anything? I mean, you said you stayed at home a lot.
Yeah, I mean, not to the best of my knowledge, but it's possible.
Day-to-day activities, you pretty much work on the computer.
Worked on the computer, yeah. Take out the dog, work on the computer. See what Mindy needed.
Did she have any hobbies or activities that you wanted to do? Or?
She had been reading a lot. She liked to color. She had talked about doing something creative again. I think she really enjoyed.
Hey, this is Tracy upstairs. We were just letting you know, this is Tracy. I'm upstairs in the interview room. I was just letting you know we're finishing up. Sergeant Fisher is who I'm looking for.
So your man only finished. Do you remember?
Yeah, he was supposed to come let us back out.
Place you went to?
Yeah, we went to a restaurant called Racquetball Hitch in Alexandria. It was our first day. It's down by the water.
That's good.
That's it. I appreciate you helping with this.
Yes, sir. Nate, yes, sir.
You saw all these $1,000. You throw them out.
4 to 6.
Miranda, that completes the morning's, the afternoon.
Oh my
session.
Oh, I don't know if you saw me scrubbing at the bottom, but I was trying to see how long we've been listening.
So,
It's over.
do you mind if Agent Sands steps down?
I have no objection, Your Honor.
So they put Sands on the stage to play this out of order, remember? So they made this man sit there. Oh. Thank you, chat. I think everyone asking how long this is going to be